Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the Early Edge, brought to you by BetMGM, the sportsbook born in Vegas. What a great show we have for you today on a Friday. Let's see how we did on a Thursday. Did we have another winning day? It's been 2 weeks since our last losing day. In fact, it might be even more than that. I just know we've gone 2 straight weeks without a losing recap screen. We go 6-4, 2 out of 3 for me. SportsLine Picks go 2 out of 3 as well. Proppy hits his Trey Murphy prop. Mikey B 1 for 2. Mike McClure misses the fade of Scotty Scheffler. But ladies and gentlemen, we can't look to the past. That's a lot of recap screens in a row with a winning record. But today's a special day. Today we run back the days of last Friday and the Friday before. We try to make it better, more energetic, and just a great spot for you to crash on a Friday morning. Ladies and gentlemen, it's Big Pick Energy Friday. What?
Squishmallow! Squishmallow!
Amazing. We got Brasco, we got buckets, and we've got Jumpsuit Mafia, Chip Patterson. Chip, I've got my espresso right here. It's a double. Can you make it a quadruple, my friend?
Good morning, see you. Good morning, Buckets. Good morning, Danny. Good morning, Ben. Good morning, Early Edge fam. Oh, buddy, am I glad to be with you. Coming live from sunny South Florida, which is the site of many things. It is the site of today's 3:30 p.m. college conference tournament sweeps here in this studio. On this here YouTube channel, you come join me, Mackenzie Brooks, John Henson, a cavalcade of stars. Katie Mox might be coming through. Jordan Giorgio might be coming through. And we want you to join us. And I am excited to do this very special edition of BPE Friday with all y'all here right now.
If y'all like that, make sure you jump in at 3:30 because 3:30 is what that is, but like with an extension. Buckets, you were kind of a star of that show as well. You were lingering in the chat. You were getting plenty of shout outs. Talk to me about that 3:30 experience because they're running it back today.
Do not call me a star when I was in the chat on a show with people like Chip and Kens and a guy who played for the Tar Heels, which I learned has a basketball team. See, I learned so much yesterday. But what I do want to say is how much I appreciate the hard work that goes into doing a live show like that. I have people tell me all the time, Buckets, soccer is so boring, but because of you, I have learned to enjoy and have learned to love the sport. That's how I felt watching the show. I could not care less about college basketball if I tried, but I was sitting here screaming at my computer watching Texas play, right? I mean, the energy those guys provide is anyone to love the sport, and I'm so proud and appreciative of the work they put into that show.
Brasco, I think we were talking pre-show. I think it was you that was saying you were watching when Xavier had that backdoor cover at the last second for the Crew to cash yesterday. They cashed a lot of bets, a lot of fun bets, 1 to 15 on that Texas play. Brasco, how was that watching?
That was awesome. I saw Chip and Kens in their jumpsuits looking like they were about to join Will Ferrell in semi-pro, and they're going nuts in the studio on that buzzer beater. I tailed some of the Discord plays. Larry Hartstein, a lot of people like Texas plus 6.5. Chip doing the hook 'em horns. So some great college basketball action yesterday and a lot of SportsLine cashes. Happy to tell you guys, March is just getting started, man. It's exciting.
Yeah, and we even before that 3:30 live stream, we cashed our BYU play. They won outright. A lot of people in the chat, always positive, is in here again. Corey Simon says, listen for a year, never joined the chat. Y'all are real. Big Cheesy, Gippers, Chris Kish. It's like finally meeting my degenerate heroes. This is so welcoming. Thanks, guys. Corey Simon, thanks for being a part of this. Gippers Picks is already in here. Danny Brasco giving out UFC picks, which you're about to do. And I got to give you another shout out because I gave you a shout out when you were in the chat on Monday. But you, Gippers Picks, Josh Nagel, when you did that special UFC show last week, correct me if I'm wrong, and we'll get to picks in a second, folks, you went 7-2-1, correct?
That's right. So, I really appreciate the shout. Yeah, a lot of plus money in there. We had a plus 140, even greater, some parlays that hit all across the board. Even the picks that didn't hit, which was just the main event, Alex Pereira. Josh was the contrarian. And he took Ankalaev, one of the only guys on him. So whichever way you played it, you made some money. And let's do it some more in the UFC.
All right, Sox Nation, Joe Neuenfeld, Steve Cook, Wu-Tang 416, John is in here, Jeff Stenberg. We're going to get to your comments and get to your questions. We got it all covered today, but we're going to start buckets with some soccer. What are the plays on the pitch?
We are going back to the classic 3-play Friday coming here from me as we go all around Europe to find the best value we can. But it starts in Spain in La Liga with Las Palmas taking on Alaves. And this is a relegation potential 6-point swing battle, which means out of all the games these teams have played so far this season, this is the one that matters the most, because this is the one that could be the difference between you staying in La Liga or getting relegated to La Liga 2, the Segunda division, if you're not careful. So expect both of these teams to play with a hint of desperation that we have not seen in a very long time. I'm going with both teams to score at plus 105. And I'm doing that for a plethora of reasons, but to keep it short, I'm doing it because Las Palmas has one of the highest BTTS hit rates in all of La Liga. It has hit in 70% of their matches so far this season. And Alaves has the highest BTTS hit rate on the road in La Liga. It's hit 71% of their matches so far this season. So something that's happening 70% of the time, being priced at plus 105 and matchup where both teams need goals, I will take that every single time. See ya. Second play, we go to France, a quick little jump from Spain to France to Ligue 1, where Nice are taking on a team that I promise you I'm not pronouncing right. Auxerre, doesn't matter because we don't care about them. We care about Nice. Nice money line plus over 1.5 goals at minus 115. Nice is fighting for a Champions League spot right now. They are third on the Ligue 1 table, and they are playing a very frustrating style of football to me to bet on because Nice at home hate both teams to score. Their last 3 matches have ended to the exact same score of 2-0 Nice. Correct score 2-0, by the way, is plus 800 if you're feeling frisky. For our third and final play, we go to the English Championship where we have only one matchup taking place between Bristol City and Norwich, and we're going with the classic here of both teams to score at minus 130. And I know minus 130 is a little bit of juice, but considering Norwich has hit both teams to score in 84%, I can't read. 65%, still a good number, not quite as impressive as 84, but 65% of their matches. These are two teams fighting neck and neck for top positioning on the championship table. Love BTTS in this one as well. See ya.
All right, we got 3 picks from buckets. Let's try to go 3-0. Speaking of picks, Big Cheesy giving himself a shout out like he should. Buddy Hield over 9.5 points. That was one of his picks in the chat. Big Cheesy's always in here giving out picks, and he's super sharp. So Buddy Hield over 9.5 points. Good stuff from Big Cheesy. Eric David is in here, and he says, Chip, he says, who needs an espresso after that? Probably nobody. I mean, I had one anyway while he was giving his chip me up. Shout out to Eric David. Eric David, your son Max was just voted first team all county in track and field. So shout out to Max, Eric David's son, who's a complete stud, really good dude as well. It's fun getting to know some of the people that are part of this family, part of this experience. Skipper's Picks has some picks in here as well. Speaking of picks, just real quick, I got to remind everybody, if you missed the front end of the show, shame on you, but we are sweating conference tournaments live today at 3:30. Watch on this YouTube channel, the SportsLine YouTube channel, as Mackenzie Brooks, Chip Patterson, and a ton of other surprise guests sweat out their conference tournament bets on stream and talk about your live bets in the chat. Again, Joe Neuenfeld saying the chat hit a lot of bets yesterday. That is absolutely true. We start this afternoon at 3:30 Eastern time, only on SportsLine, the YouTube page, of course. So check that out. Chip, it was pretty cool for me. I know you're going to get to your picks in a second. 2 college basketball picks that you got, and we got some college basketball sports line picks as well. But having John Henson in there was really good. Is he going to be back today? I know you mentioned some other guests. Is he back in the saddle today or no?
Yeah, the thing that was so exciting about it too is that if I could peel back the curtain, he was not supposed to stay as long as he did. Nice. That was like his. Sometimes when you are dealing with. Not dealing with, when you're working with like these athletes, they step into these media situations and sometimes, they do exactly what they were signed up to do and they do it well, but that's it. And that was above and beyond, both in terms of the time that he spent with us, the expertise, the storytelling. We were watching the North Carolina Wake Forest game. And so there was a lot of emotional investment anyway. They go to a shot of Roy Williams, former North Carolina basketball coach, and his wife, Wanda. And I said, shout out to Wanda. And he's like, yeah, shout out to Wanda. And then he tells a story. He said, one time he went out in a game and he got 0 rebounds. And Roy Williams said, John, you might as well have been sitting with Wanda right there. 0 rebounds on the night. What's up with that? mean, just an endless supply of entertainment. He was speaking the language. So the plan is for John to be back with us again today. And so I'm looking forward to that. Yeah, you can see him right there with our tracksuits. Tommy Tran came through, always sweating some bets right there. So it was a great time. And I look forward to running it back again today.
You want to talk about good people. Tommy Tran is at the top of that list. Such a
100%.
Smart guy, such a sophisticated guy, but just a grounded, intelligent guy as well. I could just rip off the accolades for an hour on Tommy Tran. John Henson, fun fact before you get to your picks. Real quick fun fact. I put it in the chat yesterday. 2012 NBA draft. John Henson drafted 14th overall. But he was the third Tar Heel drafted that year behind Harrison Barnes and Kendall Marshall. Imagine how good that team was to have John Henson being drafted 14th overall as the third Tar Heel in that draft. Jeff Hatley saying Henson was great. All right, let's get to some more picks. You've got a couple college basketball picks, Chip.
All right. Remix.
Yep.
Come on. Big Ten Friday night, B1G is the place to be. Gonna be an IND. Everybody wants to get themselves a couple winners. That's right, we're going to Big Ten Friday night quarterfinals, both games, because look, I'm gonna be on CBS Sports HQ giving you picks for early games. We're gonna be sweating games at 3:30 p.m. Eastern time. So I'm gonna do a little bit of a flip here because on early edge, these are the late games. Let's attack them both. We're going to start, first of all, with that Illinois-Maryland game. You might have heard what's been going on with the Illinois Fighting Illini. I'm not going to get too graphic with it, but when you think about viruses and when you think about the tummies, it's been every which way and it's been disgusting. But they've gotten over it and they've gotten their energy back. They've literally, I'm not kidding you, put on weight that they have lost. And ever since then, we have seen the offense absolutely take off. Now, the defense has not been good, but I think that what we have seen in the last couple of games, totals that have all gone over 160. And oh yeah, what happened last night against Iowa? That was 106-94 in regulation. Good gravy. We don't see stuff like that in college basketball. So I think that Maryland's going to get up and down and score. I think Illinois is going to push the pace to chase it. I see yet another healthy Illinois game getting over 160. We will take over 158.5. Then in the nightcap, last game of the night, I do not know what is wrong with Purdue. We have talked about taking Purdue overs several times here on BPE because I talk about the fact that Braden Smith, Trey Kaufman-Wren, at Mackey Arena especially, they score a lot, but the interior defense is just totally collapsed. And watching last night's game against USC, I don't think anybody won. I just think Purdue lost less, and all of the role players are shrinking at the wrong time. It is just Smith. It is just Kaufman-Wren. I don't like that as a recipe for success against a Michigan team that, while I agree has been backsliding, is going to be rested and prepared to go and expose some of those weaknesses inside with those twin tower 2 7-footers, Vlad Golden and Danny Wolf. And if you want the trend to be your friend, Purdue 2-5 against the spread in the last 7 games. That encompasses the last month. Those are numbers that tell you what my eyes have seen, that Purdue is not rated properly. I think Michigan's a live dog, but I'll definitely take the 3 points if you're going to give them to me.
I mean, I got to be honest with you. The analysis was great, Chip, but how you led that take, everybody, I'm looking at the chat, which I know you can't necessarily see. Everybody is just really caught up. There's like some musical reference with Danny Brasco. There was something about it's not unusual. Was there a Tom Jones reference in there? What was that?
Chip was doing his little song and dance. I started doing the Carlton, and someone said Danny's hitting the Carlton Banks, and I went, it's not unusual. Just felt right.
Yeah.
Why can everyone on this show sing? Did I miss something?
I can't sing.
Was this part of the resume, Danny? What was that?
You got to be in multiple, triple threat buckets, or else you can't make the cut in early edge. That's just the case.
Oh man, I don't think I can sing. I don't know that I've actually. Anyway, let's not get into that. I play the guitar. Everybody, we could do how about the early edge band? Should we do that?
Listen, I am like 100% down because I am your jack of all trades, master of none, like a C- singer. I am a C piano player. I'm a B- guitar player, and I am a B+ bass player. So we could really put something together if you want to.
That sounds perfect. Buckets, what do you think?
I don't know what I could contribute. The only like slightly rhythmic thing I have in my life is I used to make money playing Dance Dance Revolution in tournaments in the Midwest, but I can't sing or play an instrument.
Perfect. You're in. Okay. Everybody in the chat, come up with the name of our early edge band, if you would. All right. A couple of SportsLine, Chip of all trades, a couple of SportsLine picks. SportsLine account says I played the trumpet in middle school. I guess that's Ben who played the trumpet. Okay. Here are some. Oh, we've got 2 picks and we're trying to make we got a producer pick 2 from Ben. He's trying to make a comeback. 0 for 1 so far. Nothing to be ashamed of. He's trying to go 1 for 1. We'll get to that in a second. St. Louis +2 from the Maestro. That's -110. Again, St. Louis +2 from the Maestro. UCLA +1.5. That's from JLC. That's -118. Let's see that producer pick from Ben. Oregon +6.5 at -115. It's his bounce back play. He's just getting his feet wet so far, but Ben has been capping for quite some time. So not necessarily new to picks, just new to producer picks on this show. Speaking of picks, I got to remind you about the bracket challenge. This thing is starting up soon. We got Selection Sunday in a couple of days. The brackets are back and you can get in the madness today on the CBS Sports app. Enter the bracket challenge for the chance to win a new Nissan Armada and trips to the 2026 Final Four. You can also run men's and women's bracket pools with friends and join our pool. Play today on the CBS Sports app or visit cbssports.com/play to sign up. No purchase necessary. See terms and rules for details. Here's the key part, folks. Join the Early Edge Bracket Challenge, and if you win a free Paramount Plus subscription and a chance to appear on this show, The Early Edge, to give out a pick. We love to see that. We're going to be flooding the market with the link for our Early Edge our Early Edge Bracket Challenge. It should be in the YouTube description. Maybe it'll even be in the live chat if it's ready. But I think it is, and we're going to have that for you. So make sure you join that. All right, we got to get to some golf picks. We got to get to some UFC picks. We got to have a little bit more fun. We're going to do it right after this message from our partners.
Dive into the biggest moments from the big dance with NCAA March Madness Bracket Breakdown, Sunday on CBS Sports Network.
All right, we're back on the Early Edge. Let me give out a couple of quick golf plays. I went 1-1 yesterday, or I should say 1-4-2. We lost a little on the golf plays because one of those plays was the Michael Kim -140. So we lost some juice, but we made up for it with that BYU pick and going 2 out of 3. I'm going to take Matt McNeely. This is one of those round 2 3-ball matchups that unfortunately you can only find on DK. But if you have 3 balls that you're interested in that involve these players or other matchups, let me know and I'll get back to you on that. But again, these are under 3-ball matchups over on DK. Maverick McNeely -115 over Tony Finau. This is a case of I think Tony Finau is going to find a lot of trouble. If memory serves, he wasn't particularly good on approach yesterday. And Matt McNeely, while I didn't love him going into this tournament, I do think he sets up pretty well from a ball striking standpoint. So I think he's going to be the more steady ship over Tony Finau. I'll take it -115. The next one, I hate doing this. I hate fading a guy that I liked potentially to win the tournament, but Justin Thomas is clearly broken, right? I didn't have a lot of outrights for this tournament. It was Justin Thomas, it was Sepp Strock, and then a long shot on Doug Gim. This is one of those tournaments where I just kind of wanted to avoid a long outright card. With all that said, not only does Justin Thomas look broken, but even if he wasn't broken yesterday, Ludwig is still a better golfer than him and is going to fare much better on this course than Justin Thomas. So I don't want to hold yesterday against him completely because now that the pressure is off, he knows he's missing the cut. Maybe he just goes out there and has an average round, but an average round isn't going to do it. It's not going to get it done against Ludwig, who was good here last year and was pretty good yesterday. He's got more reps on this course, and that's dangerous for the entire field. So give me Ludwig Oberg -130. In a round 2 matchup over Justin Thomas. All right, those are 2 picks, -115, -130. Chip Patterson.
I obviously was so dialed into college basketball all through the day. I'm just locked in, but I've still got my spiders. I've still got my sources. So I need you who had more eyes on the golf. One of the things that I always, especially as I warm up to my golf season, I look for group vibes. I think about the personalities that are in each of these threesomes when the tournament gets announced and how it's going to impact performance. And my spiders and my sources told me the group vibes with JT, Ludwig, and Hideki were horrendous yesterday. Like you could just tell, all 3 of them were in terrible mental places. And so after going early in the morning, playing poorly, you hope that they just kind of get to flush the system and reboot, just sort of across the board, right?
Yeah, what's so interesting about that is the vibes were bad, but Ludwig was relatively steady. And Hideki, while he was terrible, like really fought back at the end, which made JT look even worse. Because it looked like JT had kind of given up and like he cared, but like just wasn't like locked in at all. So when you have a guy that's clearly better than you in Ludwig, and you have a guy in Hideki that is at least as good, if not better, that is taking the time to fight back in the round, I would think that's even more demoralizing to JT to see his counterparts actually fighting and him just crumbling hole after hole. So from a vibe standpoint, I think he goes into day 2 kind of feeling even worse than he normally would in this case.
Like he's got his private jet app open. He's going ahead and he's picking out his meal for as he's getting ready to fly home at the end of this thing.
Yeah. Capper Taylor asks Sia, would you take the 3-ball Oberg over JT and Hideki? So it's plus 140 like you put out there. I would at probably a half a unit. So that just would not be a full unit play for me. I fear Hideki a little bit, but I do think Ludwig's going to outperform both of those guys. So I do think it's a bettable play. I think that's a good find. That was a 3-ball I looked at. I just wanted to isolate JT. Buckets, go ahead.
See, I just want to say that I was so inspired by Chip's live show yesterday that in the Early Edge chat 8 minutes ago, I dropped a North Macedonian live soccer play, and that just cashed as well for the chat. So if you're watching live, you just hit a minus 110 of Shakendija Tiovo scoring in the first half in North Macedonia.
We love to watch live. Yeah, I don't have to say that, right? I don't. That's okay. Good.
Nope, we're good. Not on the recap screen. Just a little bonus for the chat.
Well, I'm looking at the UFC picks, Brasco, and these look relatively easy to pronounce. So, except for maybe this last one, you are the king of plus money plays, and you're not afraid to give them. You've got 3 here. Talk to us.
Yeah, I thought you were going to refer to my first pick as not so easy to hit, but we're going for it, Sia. The first pick out of the gate, Alexa, play DMX. Where my dog's at? Plus 455. AJ Cunningham. Now, there's a reason the odds are so wide. I'm going to tell you off the bat. His striking defense is horrible. He gets hit by everybody. But the reason we're betting on him is he has the Hyder Emil level chin. If you guys remember, the chin of 1,000 armies, the guy who won a fight that we bet on with a torn MCL and a torn bicep. I put AJ Cunningham's toughness next to that guy, next to the Drew Dobers and steel chin, renowned MMA fighters of the world. He's going to walk forward. He's going to eat shots and wear damage, and he's going to look to return it. In his first couple fights, he fought guys that were just simply way better than him, but he seems to be getting slightly better, and he's willing to just engage in a nasty affair and maybe break his opponent. His opponent's a road to UFC guy. It's sort of this regional tournament that some of those guys are on auto fade to me. The level of competition is just a lot lower than the American scene. So there's a world where Cunningham shows he's improved, uses his toughness, eats the shots, delivers harder ones back, and keeps us live at plus 455. I think he's worth a sprinkle, if nothing else. More plus money on the map for you guys today, on Saturday for UFC Fight Night. And this one is a spot I love betting. I call it the Veterans Lesson. It's Sam Hughes at plus 195. I have no idea why she's almost a 2-1 underdog. She's fighting a young up-and-coming strawweight named Stephanie Luciano. Luciano, very young. She's a rangy striker, but she's only 6-1-1 in her pro career. Sam Hughes has more UFC fights than Luciano has pro fights in her entire career. Hughes is on her 10th fight. She's been an underdog in every single matchup, and she's cashed 4 times. So I think that Hughes can kind of show her the experience level here. Grind, grapple, just make it a gritty fight. Make her work against the fence and make it ugly. Use that pressure boxing, get in tight, and make it just not pretty for Luciano, who is coming off 2 straight performances against the same opponent in which she had a 7-inch reach advantage. Just seems like she's very green and hasn't really developed those skills. So Hughes could make it tougher. I think plus 195 is wrong. One more note on that. I like to play the spreads a lot, and plus 3.5, which implies that Hughes will win 1 round, is minus 205. So the judges already have this being a close fight. Give me 2-1 underdog all day there. And the final one is the main event of the evening. I'm going with Roman Dolidze to defeat Marvin Vettori in a weird, awkward main event. This is not a pretty fight card, but I think Dolidze is the right side. Marvin Vettori won their first meeting. This is the sequel. And bettors that had Vettori, I don't know if maybe there's some level of bias here, but I was sweating that ticket and was very fortunate to cash Marvin Vettori by decision. I do not think he won their first fight. I think the judges got it totally wrong. And Vettori's been away for 18 months. He used to be this kind of high volume wrestler guy, but he's gone away from the wrestling. And in his last fight against Jared Cannonier, he got his head boxed in for 5 straight rounds. I mean, the guy is tough as all hell, but he took so much damage. So 18-month layoff, taking bad damage to guys like Robert Whittaker, Jared Cannonier. if he's not wrestling anymore, I can't trust him to outbox anybody. Dolidze's got more sting in his shots. Both guys kind of low IQ, but I think Dolidze just hurts him a little more and wins the decision. So give me Roman at plus money there. And there's some 3 long shots for UFC Fight Night. I hope we can get Cunningham 4-1 for you guys. That would be fantastic.
Buckets, why are you shaking your head?
I want to call a showdown, but I can't take a minus 625 and act like I'm, doing this right. So I just got to tail. There we go. And just trust what Danny's doing because he's always killing it.
That's my thing. There's no way in the world that I see Sung Young Yu as a minus 650 favorite. So if Cunningham loses, fine, but the price is wrong. I'll take a shot.
All right. Reminds me of the time, Buckets, I celebrated a certain soccer team getting like over 2 goals, and I didn't realize until after the fact that it was 800 or something.
It was Liverpool playing in a cup game against a Division II team, and you were like, I called Liverpool scoring 2 against, Coventry or whatever, and I was like, yep, proud of you.
Yeah. Well, 1-0, still undefeated in soccer.
A win is a win. A win is a win.
Steve, go ahead, Chip.
I was just gonna say, so like basically. You took Ohio State money line against Akron, and you were like, "Yeah, let's go."
Yeah, exactly. Pretty much. Steve Folkerts likes Colorado State -1. Japan likes Dayton -1.5 at -110. We have a baseball pick in here from Josh Davis. That's a college baseball, of course. So, college baseball picks, get them in the chat. We love to see it. All of your picks, we love to see it. Kyle Laverne says, "I got Michigan State at -3.5." Oh, that line has really escalated there. All right. I guess. I don't want to get to the recap screen, guys. I want to continue this show for the next 30 minutes at least. Go ahead, Brasco.
I mean, if you want to, we got to go to the chat and see some of the band names. They are incredible. Buckets and the Pick-Me-Ups, Brasco and the Chipmunks. I mean, these are incredible names. You guys are on fire.
Get at us on Twitter with your favorite band names. We'll put something together. Let's see. Sia Henley -0.5 over JT. Oh, the -0.5 is interesting. I don't usually bet those, but Kathy 14, I don't mind that at all. I think Henley is a pretty steady ship. Again, I'm not betting that because I don't bet the -0.5 stroke thing, but I think that's a pretty good look. FAU Tulane over 146 says Patrick James. Band name Surly Hedge. Interesting from Chris Kish. Love the wordplay there. All right. Unfortunately, we do have to get out of here, so I'm going to get to the recap screen, but I will remind everybody, hopefully all of you that are in the chat who have hopefully hit the like button as I check. Hopefully you'll be here at 3:30 to watch Chip McKenzie and so many other great guests from SportsLine and from CBS Sports. All right, I got Maverick McNeely. These are afternoon plays, round 2. Maverick McNeely -115 over Tony Finau, and Ludwig Oberg -130 over JT. Illinois, Maryland over 158.5 from Chip Patterson at -110, and Michigan from Chip Patterson +3 at -110. Okay, let's see if I can do this soccer. Buckets, Las Palmas versus Alaves. Both teams to score +105. Nice versus Auxerre. Nice money line plus over 1.5 goals at -115. And Bristol City versus Norwich. Both teams to score -120. UFC Fight Night picks. AJ Cunningham +4.55. That's from Danny Brasco and a couple other dogs. Sam Hughes +195 and Roman Dolidze +140. Okay, we've got our SportsLine plays, more college basketball. St. Louis +2 at -110 from the Maestro. And JLC, Jason Laconfora, gives you UCLA +1.5 at -118. And we've got a producer pick, folks, courtesy of Ben 10 tournament, as far as I'm concerned. Oregon +6.5 at -115. I'm just locked in on the chat because you all are delivering gold. Thank you for being in here. Farzad, Kyle, KC3. These are the names I can see right now, folks. James Murphy, Brian Smith. Let's see. Floodhouse is in here. Capper Taylor, Wu-Tang 416. What a great show. Chip Patterson, you in studio, deliver. You out of studio, you deliver. Buckets always delivering. Danny Brasco always delivering. And you in the chat always delivering. We'll see you at 3:30. We'll see you on Monday. We'll see you on the Early Wedge tonight when Rick and Jason Sobel do their recap, and the Early Wedge Sunday, the live betting show at 1 o'clock. A lot of content. Make sure you have your notifications turned on this SportsLine YouTube channel. Even more important, have a great Friday. Stay positive. Do something nice for somebody, even if it's a stranger. This has been the Early Edge on behalf of Chip, on behalf of Buckets, Danny Brasco, Ben, and all of you. This is the Early Edge. We rest our case.